On the news tonight, Governor Soludo asked CBN to champion diversification of Nigerian economy from oil to gas to agriculture. Wife of Anambra State Governor, Mrs. Soludo, called for collective effort to build better future for states. JAMB approved cut-off mark for universities, polytechnics. And on the foreign scene, Italian Prime Minister resigns following withdrawal of coalition parties. Before the news in details, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has called for a total turnaround maintenance of Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and welcome. My name is Chinyere Ikoreke. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to champion the shift from dependence on oil to agriculture-driven economy. Governor Soludo, who stated this when he played host to the CBN Awka branch manager, Mr. Benedict Madago, at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, described agro-export as a game-changer for Nigeria's economy. We have details.
The governor said that his administration is already taking the lead by introducing regenerative agriculture, reinvention of the palm revolution and coconut economy, emphasizing that dependence on crude oil at this critical time may spell doom for the country, as the NNPC had made zero remittance into the federation account since February this year. According to the governor, the economy of the old was built on palm, but crude oil came and Nigeria forgot palm oil, announcing that he intends to plant 1 million palm and coconut seedlings annually in Anambra State. The governor noted that the central bank plays a pivotal role in the development of the country, stressing that when inflation is galloping, nothing else will work. While recalling the achievements recorded during his tenure as the CBN governor, Professor Soludo expressed satisfaction that the trust in agriculture introduced during his tenure was maintained. The governor, who commended the CBN corporate social responsibility, noted that greater partnership between CBN and Anambra State government on areas that have potential to change lives is desirous by his administration. He said export-oriented production is the game changer and applauded CBN staff for their integrity and professionalism. Earlier, the CBN Awka branch manager who led the delegation, Mr. Benedict Madago, spoke about the efforts of the institution in key areas of the country's economy, especially in the agricultural sector. He disclosed that they are making gradual progress on improvement in sensitization and drew the attention of the governor to some CBN facilities that can be of immense benefit to the state, including the Ankobra scheme, Accelerated Development Scheme, among others. Principal Secretary to the Governor, Barrister JPC Aneto, State Head of Service, Barrister Theodora Igwebe, Deputy Chief of Staff and Chief Protocol to the Governor, Mr. Chinedu Nwoye, among others, were present during the visit.
The wife of the governor of Anambra State, Dr. Nonye Soludo, says her husband, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, is preparing a better future for all residents of the state. Mrs. Soludo, who stated this while addressing a women group in Awka, explained that the different policies initiated by the current administration are strategic plans to remodel Anambra State in all aspects. Daniel Ezigwe filed the report taken from here.
The governor's wife stated that her husband is a man who is driven by a zeal to rebuild Anambra State, adding that building a greater and prosperous state demands collective efforts of everyone. The governor's wife also emphasized that the current revolutionary policies embarked on by her husband's administration are sincere and necessary efforts to build a working state. She pointed out that having spent close to 3 decades of unbreakable matrimonial union with her husband, she is convinced about his vision and intent to give Indian Anambra a dream home. Mrs. Soludo also called for stronger support for the present administration, explaining that every effort invested in building a working Anambra State counts. In Awka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
Of the Tricycle Operators Association of Nigeria, Anambra State chapter, says that they are solidly behind Governor Chukwuma Soludo in his new task regime in the state. The union made this known during a peaceful and solidarity visit to the government house, Awka. Chibuzo Okoye has details.
Addressing members of the union, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Mr. Ernest Ezeajoyi, thanked them for the visit and commended them for the peaceful manner that they comported themselves. Mr. Ezeajoyi, who praised them for heeding to the government's decision that they will pay 15,000 naira monthly, which is 500 naira daily, urged them to enroll in a enumeration exercise at the Anambra Internal Revenue Service for them to be captured. The Chief of Staff pointed out that the Soludo administration has come to reposition the socio-economic well-being of Anambra and promised that government will give account of every kobo it has spent on behalf of Anambra.
Now there are new changes, and there are difficulties, and there are sacrifice. So everybody may expect to sacrifice in one way or the other in order to get the government running.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Homeland Affairs, Chief Chikodili Anara, also appreciated members of the union for the solidarity visit and said that what the current administration in the state has done is to ensure that thousands and illegal revenue collectors are taken out of the parks and roads, and urged them to keep supporting the Soludo administration.
Professor Charles Soludo Nkwado, government Nkwado. Makana even Adama protest.
Earlier, the leader of the Tricycle Operations of Nigeria, Oka Zone, Prince Collins Ozojiofo, stated that the visit was to inform the government that they are solidly behind them in the new tax administration and that they are not part of those he called hired impostors that blocked some roads in the state recently, alleging dissatisfaction with the government new tax regime.
Nondo akwụrụ ụgwọ ndị keke chọọ ime ihe ọbụla va na-abịagodu abịakọwalụ union ebe va nọ na ya ewe kpa anya mma union elidi ebe wee jekọwalụ gọọmenti ọwụkwara ndị keke merie ọyịba ji maka ya wee bịa ka ịgwa kwuru na anyị kwado ebe gọvanọ kwuru na anyị kwadokwa ebe gọọmenti kwuru ka ewedozi Anambra steeti.
Some of the placards carried by the union read, "Digitalized revenue collection is the new normal. Say no to revenue thieves. We are solidly behind Soludo," among others. From Government House, Oka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra State Health Insurance Agency, ASHA, Dr. Simeon Imachi, said over 10,000 pregnant women and children under the age of 5 are to be enrolled in the second phase of the Basic Health Care Provision Fund in the state. Correspondent Chibuzo Okoye reported that Dr. Onyemaechi disclosed this when he led his team on an inspection visit to some primary health care facilities where the registration is ongoing in Anambra East local government area.
Speaking after the inspection, Dr. Onyemaechi said that the additional registration was made possible as a result of the savings the agency made from the resources given to them in the first year, which they are now using to register over 10,000 Anambra into the scheme to increase the number of the beneficiaries in the state from 28,246 to over 38,000. The ASHA boss explained that they prioritized women of childbearing age, people living with sickle cell disease, the elderly above 60 years, people living with disabilities, among others, in the first registration, but are now taken on board in the second phase, pregnant women and children under the age of 5, in order to take care of reproductive, maternal, and child health issues, which are critical human development indices. Dr. Onyemaechi further pointed out that the scheme covers medical and surgical conditions and revealed that whatever case that could not be managed at the primary health care facility, that it should be referred to the secondary health for effective service delivery, all free of charge, and urged the Anambra to utilize the opportunity to register their children and pregnant wives.
From all the places we went to and the children, whenever they are sick, they should come to these health centers, this one and the other ones we visited, where they are registered with their card to receive free medical care, and whatever cannot be handled at this primary health care center level, they will be referred to secondary facility, and ASHA will pay for them 100%. They are not expected to pay any co-pay because this is Basic Health Care Provision Fund, an intervention of the federal government which we are implementing. So overall, once you have efficiency savings, the federal government advised that you use it to increase your number.
One of the beneficiaries, Mrs. Waneka Nnamani, who registered at Primary Healthcare Center Enugu Aguleri, thanked both the state and federal governments for the initiative, which she said will help immensely to reduce the out-of-pocket spending in accessing healthcare services.
Kene government ndị a nwebutela atụmatụ a sị ka enyere mmụọ ebe ya aka amasị ka Chineke gozie kawajide kawaji.
The managing director and chief executive officer of Asha later visited Umueri General Hospital, which is one of the hospitals in the state the agency powered with solar lights to ensure that Asha beneficiaries in the area are receiving top-notch medical services. From Umueri General Hospital in Anambra East local government area, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Echeng, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Usman Baba Alkali, presented checks worth 9,100,000 naira to 15 families of deceased police officers attached to the command. We have details.
The gesture is an initiative of the Inspector General of Police Family Welfare Insurance Scheme aimed at giving succor to the family of police officers who die in active service. Also, the gesture is aimed at spurring officers to greatness while discharging their statutory duties with the assurance that their welfare is of paramount importance to the administration of the force. The Commissioner of Police, while presenting the check to the beneficiaries, thanked the Inspector General of Police for his relentless effort towards ensuring good welfare package for personnel of the force and all the beneficiaries to use the money wisely while investing in a profitable venture that will in turn ameliorate the needs of the dependents left behind. The Commissioner of Police also assured the Inspector General of Police that officers and men of the command will continue to put in their best to ensure peace, security and safety of Anambra. He noted that in the last 3 months, the command had received similar checks from the Inspector General of Police and it was presented to the beneficiaries. The families thanked the Inspector General of Police and pledged to make good use of the money.
On national matters, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has approved cut-off marks for universities and polytechnics in the country. The decision was taken during a session comprising officials from JAMB, the Ministry of Education, the National Universities Commission, and the National Board for Technical Education, among others. For the polytechnics, 120 cut-off mark was approved, while 140 was approved for universities. Meanwhile, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Examinations noted that it will no longer consider the A-level results by the National Business and Technical Education Board, NABTEB, for candidates seeking to gain direct entry admission to tertiary institutions. Professor Oyelde highlighted some of the challenges faced by the board in the conduct of the 2022 UTME-DE examination. He listed the challenges as follows: examination malpractices, impersonation and substitution of real candidate by paid examination takers, fraudulent CBT owners who sabotage examinations, parents encouraging examination malpractices, mass cheating by syndicates, prolonged investigations, and prosecution. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives have urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to address delays arising from instant electronic fund transfer services to find a lasting solution to the problem. The House also urged the CBN to make regulations with respect to the procedures channeling complaints by aggrieved customers and mandates the Committee on Banking and Currency to ensure compliance. The House noted that pursuant to sections of the CBN Act 2007, the CBN is saddled with the duty and responsibility to promote a sound financial system in Nigeria. It also noted that through a circular dated September 13, 2018, the CBN issued a regulation on instant interbank electronic fund transfer services targeted at various payment platforms that seek to provide instant electronic fund transfer service in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi has submitted his resignation to President Sergio Matarale after key coalition parties withdrew their support for his government. In a statement, the president's office said Matarale had taken note of the resignation and asked Drag Hill's government to remain on in a caretaker capacity. The resignation opened a way for early election in September or October. The statement by the president's office did not specify whether Matarale would dissolve parliament or call snap polls. Senate President Maria Elisabetta Casaletti and Chamber of Deputy President Roberto Fico were expected at the Quarry Palace in Rome. Drag Hill, a former European Central Bank chief, became prime minister in 2021 as Italy wrestled with the coronavirus pandemic and an leaning economy, had reprimanded his Sabre National Unity Coalition and urged them back into line before it was too late. Drag Hill has already tendered his resignation last week after one of his partners, the populist Five Star Movement, failed to back him in the confidence vote on measures tackling the high cost of living. In sport, Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro has his contract extended by the Nigerian Football Federation in the next few days. Peseiro signed a one-year deal to become the permanent coach of the Nigerian national team following the end of the tenure of Austin Aguavon as interim coach. Peseiro's contract has a provision to be extended for a further 2 years, and the African Cup of Nations initial plan for 2023 will be used to judge his time as coach and possibly hand him an extension or not. However, following the postponement of the tournament to 2024, the NFF is now exploring means to extend his deal to cover the period of the African Cup of Nations, and talks will be held in that regard after the international round of games in September. It was gathered that the proposal will be on the same team as he is earning at the moment, as only the length of the contract will be tempered with. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. The main point again, Governor Soludo has asked CBN to champion diversification of Nigerian economy from oil to agriculture. Wife of Anambra State Governor, Mrs. Soludo, has called for collective effort to build better future for states. On national matters, JAMB has approved cut-off marks for universities and polytechnics. On the foreign scene, Italian Prime Minister has resigned following withdrawal of coalition parties. Here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Many thanks for watching. My name is Chinyere Ikoreke. Good night.